Venus is often considered the hottest planet in our solar system. If you hear the name, the first thing that crosses your mind is the image of a burning hell. But did you all know? Even though it's so extreme, Venus has long been an object of research for scientists. There is even an Antarctic element that managed to land on its surface. Well, on this occasion, we will discuss more deeply about the efforts of this planet research. So as usual, rather than all of you are curious, let's discuss together. If asked to show one of the most advanced interstellar bodies in the world in the field of interstellar exploration, certainly NASA, owned by the United States, is the closest. But for those who don't know, actually Russia, or what was once still included in the Soviet Union, was once the most advanced in interstellar matters. Even at the end of the 1950s, the Soviet interstellar program experienced an increase that had never happened before, because at that time the emergence of various important missions almost happened every year, such as the first man-made satellite, the first living creature in outer space, and the first lunar flight to portray the dark side. Then, at the end of 1960, the Antarctic team of the Soviet Union decided if their first exploration mission was to fly to Venus, and the program was named Venera. However, due to the lack of information about the actual situation on the planet Venus, at the time, scientists from the Soviet Union and various other countries were very confident that Venus has an atmosphere similar to Earth, water, and life inside it. With that in mind, scientists who were involved in the Venera mission project did not take that into account. Even in the test scheme that was set at the time, the Soviet Union still used the same scheme used in lunar flight and would lower the exploration vehicle to explore the surface of Venus using a parachute. Yes, of course, you can guess the ending. The state of the planet Venus is not like what was predicted at the time. That's why the Venera 1 Antarctic exploration robot, which is thought to be able to land directly on the surface of Venus, immediately experienced a communication failure, which made the Venera mission unable to repair its flight path. As a result, the Antarctic vehicle flew 100,000 kilometers across the planet, which became its destination in 1961. Even though it failed, but still, the achievement of the Soviet Union at that time is still amazing, because at that time there was no Antarctic vehicle that had ever flown so close to Venus before. In short, for a decade, various Venera generation launches to Venus encountered a series of failures in conquering one of the neighboring planets. Various failures happened because at that time, scientists around the world were still blind to the actual situation on Venus, which is the main reason various generations of the Antarctica Venera vehicle do not have even a little chance to reach the surface of Venus. From the start of the Venera 1 to 6, and so on, everything was swept away by the extreme pressure from the Venus atmosphere, until some missions failed. Even some were not disclosed publicly. Even so, the data that was sent by the Antarctic vehicle back to Earth still provides accurate information about the composition of the atmosphere, temperature, and also its pressure. For example, like new information about the Venus atmosphere, which contains 90% carbon dioxide and has very, very high pressure and temperature. Research was also continued at that time with all the new information that was obtained by the failure of the Venera generation in exploring the planet Venus. In short, after going through various studies and calculating all the new inputs, the engineers in the Venera mission also decided to be careful and develop a new vehicle which is able to withstand pressures of 180 atmospheres and temperatures of around 540 degrees Celsius for 90 minutes. In the development of the latest generation of this Venera vehicle made of titanium, which increases strength and also its weight. In addition, the number of instruments brought was also reduced so that the ability of this vehicle is more flexible than before, such as measuring the temperature and pressure on the surface, analyzing the type of surface, and measuring the maximum acceleration through the braking section. Well, on August 17th, 1970, Venera 7, which is actually Venera 17, was launched from Cosmodrome Baikonur. And here, finally, the hard work of the scientists was paid off. On this 7th Venera mission, finally the Antarexa vehicle managed to reach Venus and made the first landing on the planet Venus on December 15th in the same year. After reaching the target and entering the atmosphere, the parachutes prepared for the vehicle exploded and caused the Antarexa Venera vehicle to descend faster than it should. The science team in the Venera mission even estimated that after a landing like that will make the Venera vehicle will not function because the telemetry switch experienced failure when entering the atmosphere of Venus. However, it is not as imagined by the scientists, because after the landing has been done, analysis shows that for 23 minutes after landing, the vehicle has transmitted direct data from the surface of the planet Venus. With that achievement, the landing seems to be like a miracle, because throughout the mission, the possibility of an error from the vehicle is indeed very, very large. After Venera 7, the new generation of the Antarexa vehicle began to fly to Venus. The shipment of the latest generation of the aircraft certainly made it possible for the Soviet Union to secure its leadership in the exploration of Venus and become the first country to get the first picture of its surface. Well, like the photo you see here, is the original photo of the first colored surface, which was successfully portrayed from the surface of Venus, at the same time becoming the first photo taken from another planet. So in total, in the mission to explore Venus, the Venera belongs to the Soviet Union, or what we know today as Russia has launched 27 spacecraft to Venus, and the last of the entire Venera mission was until the 16th generation of Venera. As a conclusion, in the summary of the mission to explore Venus belongs to the Soviet Union, then we will show some original panoramas of all generations of Venera vehicles, which are located on Venus, and hopefully can give you all a new view of Venus that is even closer. Let's take a look together. And yes, that's all I can say on this occasion. As usual, hopefully it can provide new information about the world of astronomy, as well as entertainment for all of you.